It is our day to spotlight Riverdale schools today on the morning show, and Jeff Campbell has brought a bunch of friends again along with him as we highlight some great things going on here toward the end of the year. Kurt Thompson is in the studio with us. He is the AD and social studies teacher. Also, we're going to talk music with Jason Troxel from Riverdale Schools, and we are blessed to have the valedictorian Macy McKay and Riley Leith, the salutatorian, in the studio with us as well. I think they're going to give us a preview of their speeches, but more on that later. Jeff Campbell is here today. Jeff, thanks for coming along with us here today.
Yeah, I got a crew today, so this is nice. They can kind of finish up the year. I know they all have areas that Jason and Kurt can kind of talk about, kind of summing up the year, and then with Macy and Riley, two individuals I've known for a long, long time, and it's a great celebration for them this weekend.
The big thing is you got the van in the driveway here at WRCO. That was amazing.
We did. So hopefully Pete's listening. I was a little afraid when I got the big one this morning, but we made it through. We made it through. It was a challenge, but you accept those things and move on. So.
Absolutely. I'm impressed there. Good driving skills. Well, it's end of the year. You've got a lot of things going on. Field trips are kind of wrapping up, I'm sure, Jeff.
Yeah, we do. We've got a slew of field trips. We're just going to kind of preview where we go because we go throughout the state, for our kids. So our kindergarten takes off. They head on a field trip to the zoo in the next couple. All this within the next couple weeks. Some have already finished up, but they'll head to the zoo. I believe it's next Thursday. Our first grade goes to La Crosse Children's Museum. Second grade, they head to Timbavati and the Dells. Always a popular trip. Third grade's heading to Eagle Cave and our folklore village. Fourth grade gets the Mining Museum in Platteville. Our fifth grade already took off. They went to UW Platteville to their STEM day about a week ago. Great experience for them. Our sixth grade, they kind of do a celebration as the end of elementary. So on their second year, it's kind of a tradition, and our foundation sponsors this. So they went to the Brewer game. So they went to the Brewers, I believe, Padres game. A lot of offense that day for the Brewers, so it was a good win for them. Seventh grade heads to the Dells. Eighth grade goes to Kalahari as kind of their end of the year trip for the last couple years. Kind of a traditional trip that they take. Ninth grade already went to the UW-Madison, and what's neat about that field trip was they meet up with some of our alumni that are currently going to UW-Madison, and they're able to tour the campus and then get some questions answered from them. So that's been a neat trip that they plan. Our 10th grade actually is heading to, also going to the zoo to do some things, and then also to Dave & Buster's. Our 11th grade heads to Mount Olympus, and our 12th grade already took their senior trip to Mall of America. So each grade gets an opportunity here towards the end of the year or a little bit towards the second part of the year to take a trip, and well-deserved.
Does the administrator get to go on any of those trips? Because that seems like some fun there.
Yeah, there's some good ones there. I don't know. I've been on a lot of them in the past in different roles, but no, I said maybe the Brewer game. That should have been one I should have went on. I went on last year, but that's a great day. But yeah, there's a lot of great trips that our kids get out in the public. Our 4K too, they do a little bit smaller. They do more of the park, sometimes to PEX. They go to the public library. Just keep those 4Kers close by to the school. But yeah, other than that, it's a great opportunity. Our kids always do a good job. We always stress the importance of being out in public and representing Riverdale well, and we receive a ton of compliments when the kids come back from all the places that they travel to.
Big night coming up this week. Is this the first time that graduation's been on Friday night for a while?
It is, yeah. We're looking at a 2-year run on Friday night, test it out a little bit, and I think it allows people to have that weekend. There's a lot of other area graduations going on. Parties are able to start a little bit earlier throughout the holiday weekend, and you get 3 full days to do that. But yeah, we'll do a Friday night, 7 o'clock, and it'll be held at our Res Auditorium, which we've always held it in there for the last number of years. And yeah, we'll get everything set up. I think they're already starting to set up this morning. We'll get practice out of the way tomorrow morning, and then Friday night. So it might be the first time in the history of Riverdale that we're running a Friday night graduation, but it worked out well for the next couple of years to give this a try.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing to do, and it's a nice weekend. You've got an extra day on Monday, so for party planning and things like that, it probably works out pretty well.
Yeah, I think so, and we'll take it. We'll take the suggestions and things afterwards, and we already set our calendar for next year, so that'll be on a Friday night, and then after that, we'll review it and see what people think and what the pros and cons of both are. But either time you do it, it's a busy time for the families, and I think it's just a great opportunity to celebrate a great group of kids.
Yeah, they used to graduate on Friday night way back in the day, probably when Kurt was in school as well. But we'd run into a regional baseball game once in a while. That once in a while you almost were late for graduation, you know? So.
Yeah, that is something that the WIA calendar fell a little bit in our favor, and that's something we'll have to review again because I think sometimes track sectionals falls around that same time too. And you just want to make sure you're not putting those kids in the tough spots, especially with rain and everything. But it kind of fell right at this time, and I believe next year too. So we'll give it a go.
How many graduating seniors are there? Put you on the spot a little bit.
I think we're going to be close to 50 in the graduating class this year. So that's a nice group of kids that we can get through graduation. We have some coming out of our Riverdale Academy and some coming out of our Riverdale High School. So proud of the group this year, and it's a nice large group for us. And we maintain around that 45 to 50 range. And our 4K numbers, when you think numbers wise, you're always looking around that number 2, and we're going to be around that next year in our 4K too. So it's kind of nice to know that there's a consistency moving up through numbers wise.
You brought Riley and Macy, and are you sure that missing this hour, is that going to hurt their academic?
We talked about that. They were on time this morning for the van, so that was good. That was their last big test. But no, these two girls have done a ton for our school and been involved in a number of things. They'll talk about that. They can talk about what they've done. But two representatives of our school, we can't speak much highly. To lead the class of 2026, I can't ask for much better.
Sounds good. Well, let's bring him on. How about Macy McKay, first of all? Good to have you on, Macy. Good morning. Congratulations on your achievements at Riverdale.
Thank you.
So, valedictorian, do you have the speech done already, do you?
Oh, yeah. It's been done for about a month. We have to turn it in and make sure that it gets proofread and it's appropriate, but I think we'll be okay this time.
So who does the final say on? Is it Mr. Campbell that listens?
Miss Gruen, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you give us any insight into what you're going to be talking about?
Just that, the future, you don't ever really know, but as long as you just keep going and, it will eventually all work out.
4 years have gone by pretty fast, haven't they?
Yeah. Some days a little slower than others, but for the most part, yeah.
Sure. Is the class pretty tight-knit?
Yeah, I would say so. We get along pretty well. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the things that you consider highlights. I think of sports, obviously. You're involved in 3 sports, and lots of chills and thrills there, Macy.
Yeah, I'd say this past year, probably getting my 1,000-point in my basketball career, that was pretty exciting. Otherwise, like winning our first basketball regional game in a while, first volleyball regional game, those are pretty good highlights, I would say.
Definitely. How did you manage your time? Because, not only doing well on the field and on the court, but in the classroom as well. Was that pretty tough for you?
It was tough to adjust to, but once I realized that I can do some homework in class or use my time wisely in school, then when I have a game, I don't have to worry so much about after the game if I have homework to do or stuff like that. I try to use my time in class as much as I could, and if I had homework at home, I also prioritize my sleep. So sometimes if I didn't get my homework done, I said sleep is more important. So I'd put it away and say, no, that's enough for tonight. And go on, we can worry about it in the morning.
Of your classes, do you have a favorite class?
My favorite class is Calc. I love math, yeah. I'm a math person, so I like Calc. Getting to look at the real world issues and then apply like equations and stuff like that to them.
Now, I never came across real world issues that I needed that kind of stuff for, but what are you looking at as far as a career is concerned?
I plan on studying business management and sports management in college. I don't really know what I want to do when I grow up, so I decided I like the business world, how it's always changing. You never really know what's coming next. I like that idea of it, so then I picked business management because it's more of a broad major, and you can go many different ways with it. So hopefully I find out which way I like to do quicker than.
Sure. Where are you attending school in Mason?
I plan to attend Ripon College and then double major in business management and sports management, and then I also plan to play softball as well.
Oh, wonderful. Good for you. Do you have a dream job in mind?
Not really.
Not really?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, the future is bright, that's for sure.
Hopefully.
We'll slide the microphone over to salutatorian Riley Leaf. Good morning, Riley.
Good morning.
Good to have you in the studio with us.
You.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. What are some things and some clubs you've been involved in at Riverdale?
I was in track and cross country. I retired a year early, but yeah. I've been in Leo Club, Science Club, Sources of Strength, Honor Society, just a little bit of everything, I guess.
My goodness, yeah, you have been involved. Certainly.
Yeah, I try.
Let's talk about a favorite class. What's a favorite subject you've had at Riverdale?
I would say probably I had a lot of fun in AP Biology.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a challenge, but it was really fun because you really dive into things on a much deeper level. So
yeah, you like being challenged, I guess it sounds like.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's fun.
What is the salutatorian? What is the subject of your speech?
My speech, it contains some lessons, I guess, I've learned throughout high school, and just overall being chosen as salutatorian, and then about how you might as well, I guess, push yourself the most you can, because you might be surprised where you end up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very well. And where would you like to end up?
So my goal is to be a teacher. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need some good teachers.
Yeah.
What subject?
So third grade. So a little bit of everything, yeah.
Uh-huh. So elementary ed?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome. Is there a teacher that inspired you when you're thinking back on your school days?
Yeah, so I actually want to be a third grade teacher because of my third grade teacher. When I think of all of my years throughout school, my favorite year was third grade. My teacher was Miss Hudson, and yeah, that definitely inspired me to want to shoot for third grade specifically.
Awesome. And where are you headed to school at?
Stevens Point.
Stevens Point.
Yeah.
Okay. Very well. And maybe you wind up back in the Riverdale District someday, right?
Who knows? Yeah, maybe.
Well, that's awesome. We need good teachers. What do you see as, for the class of 26, what do you see as challenges down the road, as you get into college or into the workforce?
It's definitely a lot of new beginnings. I would say that's a big challenge, and especially for the people, I guess me and Macy, the ones that are going a little bit farther away, there's a lot of new, and that can be challenging, but I think that our class is full of a lot of people that embrace challenge, and I think everyone's going to do pretty well.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think they will too. Macy, we didn't get you a chance to comment on that too, but what do you see as challenges for the class of 26 moving forward?
I think that we're not fully or understanding what we are actually capable of, and living to our full potential, and being able to use all of our skills to make the world a better place, and do our job in what we choose to do.
What's interesting is I've been hearing about some of these college commencements, and people are getting booed when they're bringing up AI, which is really interesting. But for both of you, you're going out into the workforce. You don't know what some of the jobs are going to look like in 10 years, do you?
Exactly, and I feel that's where you start to use your strengths and find your spot, what you are meant to do. And if it's a resource that you use, then it's something that we use to make the world better.
Definitely. There are some good sides to AI, too. It's not all a villain, but yeah, well said. We'll come back with more in the morning show as we put the spotlight on Riverdale, and we'll talk to Kurt Thompson and also Jason Troxel when we return with more in just a moment. We're spotlighting Riverdale on the morning show today as we look at some of the great things that have happened this year. We're going to focus on the music program next, and Jason Troxel is here talking about some things going on at Riverdale. Jason, maybe you could talk about your role at Riverdale and what you do.
Sure. I teach 7 through 12 bands and choirs. So I've got high school groups that meet every day and junior high groups that meet every other day, and then my hours are filled in with lessons. Some years I have classes. I'll have 2 extra classes next year, an intro to music theory and then an AP theory class. So I'll have a little bit fuller schedule next year.
What do you like teaching better, vocal or instrumental?
I don't know that I could really pick one. A lot of people tend to just kind of mush all music together, but directing band and directing choir is very different. I would say that as a choir director, I'm 50% motivational speaker just to get people to relax and feel free to, sing. But band, it's I don't have to do that as much, but there's just having the knowledge on all the different instruments and the fingerings and techniques. So it's, I'd say, more of a technical challenge in band than it is in choir.
Can anybody sing?
Yes.
I mean, even Henry Bray, if he was in the choir, you could...
Well, I'd put him in the back row probably, but yes, anybody can sing. So many people say, "Oh, I can't sing." If you can speak, you can sing. That's it.
No doubt. You had solo ensembles lately, or most recently. How did Riverdale do?
Good. We had, I think, around 8. We didn't have a ton of entries, excuse me, this year. But we hosted. We had Mineral Point, Fenimore, Boscobel, and then a few kind of stragglers from students that had conflicts with their usual solo and ensemble. We had 2 students that qualified for state. Clark Gilson and Allison Adams both had piano solos that went to state. They had a duet that they played together, and then they had a trio that they played with a school student from another school. So all of those events went to state, and they played very well there. So we're proud of them.
Boy, it's something else when somebody makes it to state, because that's a whole nother level, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I think one of the bigger surprises for students is just how harder the judging is at state. So, you have to get a starred first at district, which is not easy, but to get a first at state is a real accomplishment. The point system, the window to get a first is pretty small.
Do you play keyboards then, Jason?
I can get myself through a choir rehearsal well enough, but you're not going to see me out performing anywhere.
Sure. But these students really excel with piano, it sounds like.
They do, yes. They take lessons from Rhonda Zart. So really, she gets more the credit than I do. But yeah, they're great musicians.
Have you recently had music concerts, your spring concert of the year?
We just had our concert last week. Usually we have an all-band concert where, it's 6 through 12 bands, and then they play a big piece together. And then another night we have the all-choir. But due to some scheduling conflicts, we ended up doing both of them on the same night. And, everything went really well. The week before that concert, we had performed at large group, and that's always a really good experience because you don't really get to practice performing very often, and that's really what large group is. And when you go there, one of the judges always gets up and then works with the group for 10 to 15 minutes, and they always give great comments. Some of them the students have heard from me 100 times, but they just need to hear it from somebody else. But all of the groups made significant strides in that week from large group to the concert, and that's I'm very proud of that.
You had a spring trip too, didn't you, Jason?
We did. We went to Florida this year. That was at the end of March and the beginning of April. We had a music clinic with a friend of mine from college. He teaches at University of Tennessee in Martin. So we spent about 2 hours there. He worked with a band and the choir. We had 2 days at Universal Studios. We had a day at the beach. But if you ask the students and the parents that went along, everybody's favorite thing is the bus ride, of course. The 24 hours down and the 24 hours back. You get the 3 S's, the sights, the sounds, and the smells. And let me tell you, one of those 3 were a bit more apparent than the others.
It's a good bonding thing for the band.
It is,
right?
yeah. And one requirement we have is that whenever we go to the beach day or coming back from, we watch Jaws.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So here,
yeah.
Yep. Here, kids, watch this movie. Get in the water.
That's one that never goes out of style. Riverdale Showcase. Were you involved in that?
Yes. So this year we had the jazz band, the pep band, and the bell choir perform there. The pep band always starts out the night. We set up in the cafeteria, so we were playing pep band songs as the people came in. And then we had different slots throughout the night where the jazz band played a few tunes and the bell choir played some songs. And yeah, Showcase is always a great night for the arts and really the whole district to kind of show everybody what we're doing. And all the hard work the students are putting in.
Right. So reviewing the year for the music program, that's kind of the highlight. It all kind of culminates there, doesn't it?
Yeah. I would say that I mean, every year you have growth from the beginning to the end of the year. I think in my 20 whatever years of teaching, I've never had across the board groups improve as much as they have this year, and I've told them that I'm extremely proud of the junior high and high school music groups and the work that they put in, because they've all worked really hard.
That's really saying a lot.
It is. Yeah, it's everything you want. You don't have any, notions of, this is where we have to be at this point. Music doesn't really work like that. I tell the students our job is to get better in rehearsal every day, and it'll add up. So throughout the year, I'd always say, as we're playing a song that may be fairly difficult and we're doing well, I remind them, say, okay, now think back to the beginning of the year. Could we have done this at that point? And usually the answer is no. So I try to point out, the improvement throughout the year.
Sometimes the beginner band, they struggle with Three Blind Mice at the beginning of the year, and then they're actually playing something more difficult at the end, right?
Yeah. And our new elementary music teacher, Ella Feuerstaller, has done a great job with the beginning band and choir. In sixth grade, I helped her out at the beginning just to kind of get the ball rolling, and then we sort of team taught for a while, and then she was on her own to do her thing, and it's gone really, really well. So I've got some good band and choir students coming up to junior high from her next year.
That'll be good to replenish. Yeah, you're going to lose quite a few seniors this year too, aren't you?
Actually, this is one of the smaller senior classes that I'm missing. I have one senior in band.
Oh.
I have 5 seniors in choir, but I have far more than that coming in as freshmen. So all the groups will be bigger next year, and I've been kind of on them this week to think about, okay, take some lessons in the summer, keep playing, keep singing, so that we can try to not have to start all over again in the fall, see if we can kind of keep all this great stuff that we're doing now.
You do schedule summer band lessons then?
Yep. The first session, June 6th through June... I can't remember what that date is. It's 3 weeks in June. We'll have a whole new round of beginners starting, and then I'll have plenty of returning instrumentalists and singers as well.
What's the pep band jam? Like, what's the number one song that exhilarates them when you pull that out?
I think this year it was probably Mr. Brightside, I think was their favorite.
By the Killers. Oh, that's pretty new for me.
We did play Golden from the K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, okay.
And the girls over there are going, yeah, that was the one. It's always a mix of, stuff we've done before. I tend to order 1 or 2 new pieces a year just to kind of keep it fresh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that's in the budget. Sometimes some songs work as pep band pieces, and sometimes they don't, right?
That is very, very true. Yes. Some just, they really don't work at all.
Interesting. Good stuff. Well, let's turn the table over to the other side of the room here. Kurt Thompson. This guy, I probably have interviewed him more in my career than anybody, who used to coach 3 sports as a head coach and everything. Kurt, good to see you again.
Yeah, you too, Phil. Yeah, we've done a lot of interviews in the past, so it's been a lot of fun.
Yes, we have. Well, let's talk about your roles at Riverdale. It keeps you busy.
Yeah, it's a busy thing, but there's a lot of people that do a lot of the work for me, and so it goes pretty smoothly. But yeah, I'm the social studies teacher / history teacher. Have freshmen through seniors, do like world history, Wisconsin history, U.S. history, government, AP, all those things. Then also do the AD, and also do the baseball coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's right in the middle of the season. You've got your seating meeting tonight, right?
Yeah, we have the seating meeting tonight, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll have a home game. We've played well this year. We have things we have to work on, but yeah, the seating meeting's an important thing, but I think in the sectional that we're in, it's going to be pretty much up for grabs.
And you have a team that is fairly young. You don't have a lot of seniors.
No, we just have the one senior. Colin Walsh is the only senior on the team. We have a lot of, obviously, younger guys on the team, one freshman, and a number of sophomores and juniors, of course. And they like baseball. They play hard. It's been an enjoyable year, but we just got to keep moving forward and keep working on things.
How many games do you have before the tournament then, Kurt?
We have 2 games ago. We have Darlington. That's our senior night, youth night tomorrow night, and then we travel up the road to the friendly confines of Ithaca, and we'll play them before tournament starts on Thursday.
Next Tuesday, I think the game is, isn't it?
Yeah, Tuesday's
When you
the
play
Ithaca game. Yeah, and then we go tournament on Thursday. Yep.
Sure. Well, let's talk about the classroom a little bit. You and I don't get a chance to do that very often.
Definitely not.
But you get a chance to teach social studies. You've done some co-oping with Ken Feed, haven't you?
Yeah, Ken's come down. He knows his Wisconsin history. He knows his Muscadet, Blue River, Avoca, all that history, and he comes down. When we have Wisconsin history class in the spring, he's the guest speaker. He takes us around town. He sets up a lot of stuff for us. He does a great job with that. But yeah, that's one of the things that we do. I'll let you lead me to where you want to go with this one, but there's a lot of different things to do in the classroom.
Yeah, no kidding. What's your favorite time of history to teach?
The favorite time of history to teach I'll go with a true answer. We'll say it's current America, probably in like the 50s through the 60s. So, yeah, and then that takes me back when I was younger. No, just joking with that one. But anyway, that's my favorite class, is that time period. And really, overall, I enjoy all the classes. To me, teaching is more like getting to know the kids and watching them like mature and move through the year and develop kind of some connections with them as they go along. And I just have a lot of fun with it. I hope the kids enjoyed it, maybe. But to me, it's just trying to get across, I think the most important things is listening to other people's opinions, trying to be kind to people, respectful, and that type of thing.
Do you find students as interested in history as they used to be? Because, I mean, I always just ate that up, but I'm not sure if kids are still...
I think they are, or either they're good actors. But I think they do like it. I mean, when you're younger and you're sitting in the classroom and it's like, oh, really? 1792? What does that mean to me? I understand all that. But I think as they go through the time, hopefully they enjoy it. I know that history becomes more something that people tend to like a lot more after they get out of school. That could be the teacher, of course. But anyway, I think they tend to get more involved in that. But I've noticed, like, this year, what kids like to do more, I believe, is get more actively involved in the class. And you try to do that at the same time of trying to get the history to them. But they like to participate, like, not to bring Macy up here, but Macy was involved in our last little, in our government class, we have a trial, mock trial. And it gets pretty intense because some people take the role personally, and when it's supposed to be like a mock trial thing. So I think they enjoyed that one. Hopefully they did, but I think it was pretty fun to do. So
somebody is actually guilty, or how do you?
Yeah, there's a jury, there's witnesses, there's lawyers, there's the judge, there's everybody. There's the plaintiff, there's the defendant, and then they get scripts they're supposed to follow, and then we go through that. It's I think it goes pretty good. I think they like doing that. It's fun to do.
Yeah, that sounds like something that would really be interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is very interesting.
You could do a podcast, and
that's a good idea. Maybe next year we'll podcast it, and we'll see how. Maybe we'll play it on. Yeah, we'll take one of your hours here, and then we'll play it over the radio.
That would be fun. I'd like to. Yeah, we could broadcast that trial live. So, sounds good. I mean, and obviously, current events kind of come into play as well.
Oh, for sure. Right? One thing I do in class is we start the day each hour with the newspaper. So we'll go through the main events, and they can comment on them, and we go through all that. So, yeah, it's important to keep at least just in touch with what's going on and reporting on it, and try to follow the middle of the road and let everybody have their own opinions and ideas on what's going on. So yeah, we do that each morning. We do the sports, and of course we do birthdays, and then to keep Mr. Troxel happy, if it's a musician's birthday or a singer, we usually play a song in the morning, get the kids going, and then they can thumbs up or thumbs down the song.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
But history is important because I think like right now people are saying, how crazy the world is and coming up in the, and, when you and I grew up, World War III and, the Cold War and all those things. I mean, there's always been time in history where things are not that favorable, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, you can go back to whatever time period you want. I think when you're living in it, it becomes, you're right there with it. I think of the kids here, if you look at what they've lived through, they've lived through the COVID situations and all those types of things. And you have to give them a lot of credit for having gotten through that period because, when you look down the road in 50 years or whatever, they'll be looking at as a major historical event. I think sometimes when you're in the event, you kind of just get in the event and you're not looking back at it later on. So,
yeah, very true. Looking ahead to the next year, 26, 27, previewing that, put you on the spot a little
okay.
bit.
Previewing that. Yeah, so we should have, as far as, in the classroom we want.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, classroom. Let's see, what do we have planned? A lot of the same stuff, I guess. We are doing, one thing I should plug is we did do a trip out to the Moffett Farms outside of Blue River. That's the Heritage Center. And that was a really entertaining trip. We took the seniors out there. And so that's something that they really, really liked. It's right outside of Blue River, right after the port there. And it was a really interesting activity for them. As far as next year, we'll just plug ahead. I'll have the world history and all that stuff, and we'll just I'll put the times. For me, I'd like to make it as much interactive as possible because I've been there a long time, and sometimes you get stuck in the old ways. And kids need to be more interactive, more involved in what they're doing, to have more activities and keep it as entertaining and energetic as possible.
Can't just show the film strip anymore.
No film strips, please. No. Yeah, that would be bad.
But you bring up a good point because right in the Riverdale district, there is so much history, not only with the Moffett, the Tipisaki farm.
Right.
But, you've got the mounds, you've got Frank's Hill.
Oh, for sure. And there's a lot of things, we've taken the seniors on tours of the mile markers in Muscadet, and there's so much history that's sitting right in your own backyard that sometimes you overlook that. And that's where Ken Thied really has done a great job of coming in and just saying, hey, do you remember there used to be 9 gas stations in Muscadet? And Muscadet used to have the biggest hotel in southwest Wisconsin, the Smalley House there in the corner and all that. And it's really, the kids really like learning that history, and it keeps you in touch with your community. And which I think, not to get off track, but I think that's a really important part of your school is having that close, hard-knit community where people work together and support one another. Even though you might have your differences, you're all living in the same community. And so you have to try to respect people's perspectives and then just work together as a group to keep building that community and making it as strong as possible.
And baseball and history go hand in hand, don't they?
Well, for sure. I mean, baseball is a big part of history. You can't have, no. But anyway, baseball is humongous. I mean, to me, I don't want to get on a personal thing, but baseball is it's more than just baseball. It's about building connections with people, and it's a family thing, and it's a unity thing for your community. It's a history of a lot of small towns is baseball. If you look back on it, we could do a show sometime, but if you look back on the history of baseball, it brings your communities together. It brings the people together, as do all of your sports, but yeah, it's very important.
You bet. And through time, just showing up at the Ball Diamond like on a Sunday afternoon and playing a pickup game, that's kind of a lost art.
For sure. That's a very good point that you're bringing up, because oftentimes so much today, everything has to be structured. And it's nice when you see the kids saying, hey, let's go down and shoot some baskets down at the park, or let's go down and play baseball. It's 4 against 4, and we'll make our own rules, and we'll play, wiffle ball or rubber ball or something like that. That'd be great for the kids to do.
It would. Always good to have you in the studio,
Yeah,
Kurt.
Thanks, Phil.
And for the class of 26, Macy, the mock trial, what role did you play in that?
Oh, I was a key witness for the defense.
Key witness.
Yeah,
all right.
for sure.
What was the whole issue? What was the problem?
There was an altercation at an arcade, and someone was leaving, and he reached for something in his back pocket, and someone thought he had a knife, so then he hit him with wood. So then he was being tried for assault with a deadly weapon. So then I was his girlfriend, and I had to testify for the one that got hit.
Did they pick you apart though on the stand, or?
Well, a little bit. I might have lied a little bit under oath on accident.
Ooh.
Yeah.
She admits it here.
Yeah, the defense kind of ran with that, but
What happens about perjury there in the mock trial thing? You know?
nothing. They just really hammered it to the jury. Be like, yeah. At one point she said she was walking slowly, then all of a sudden she changed it and she was walking fast. So I don't really know which one it was. And I was like, well, fast is different to different people, so. I had to change it around and make it not look as bad.
Interesting. Good stuff. And your softball season continues. You're going to have a tournament game with Bangor next week, right?
Yep. We picked up a game tomorrow. We play Wazeeka at home.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah, it's a makeup game from earlier in the season. And then we play Bangor on Tuesday. So it'll be a good game.
Good luck with that. So you'll be playing after you graduate. It'll still be fun to come back and do something Riverdale related, right?
Yeah, to see the girls. I mean, we see them every day at school, but like once you graduate, you're not going to see them. Well, they'll still be in school, obviously. So
Sure.
it'll be good to come back.
Yeah, it's bittersweet, isn't it?
Yeah,
Come
it
down
is.
the last times. And Riley, what about the class of 26? Put you on the spot a little bit. Do you know the class mottos or any of those things that the class is putting forward?
I'm not really sure about our motto.
Okay.
No.
This is the end, but it's the beginning or something.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
And it's bittersweet. You're going to be walking across the stage on Friday. And,
Yeah, it's weird.
lots of memories. Those 12 years go by pretty fast.
They sure do. You hear everybody say it, but you don't really understand how true it is till you're actually there.
Good deal. And you have plans for the summer? Just getting ready for college?
A lot of work, yeah. Get ready for paying it all off, but yeah.
Starting that process. Good.
Yeah,
Well,
for
good
sure.
luck to both of you. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
And Mr. Troxel, how many times will you repeat Pomp and Circumstance for the class of 26? With 50 students, what's the...
I predicted 8.
8.
We talked about it in band yesterday, and my prediction is 8.
8 repeats for Pomp
Yeah.
and Circumstance.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
And Mr. Campbell, some things you want to say as we wrap up here? The Foundation Day is coming up in a week or
Yeah,
so.
definitely. This is our highlight of the year. I think with our staff and everything, we get them together. Last in-service day, May 29th. Still have a week of school after that, but it's on a Friday. And the foundation will present their awards. All of our teachers have put in their selections of things that they would need to enhance their classroom, and that's the award day. And we do it with a lunch with the entire staff with the foundation, and after the lunch around 1 o'clock, then we go ahead with the awards presentation, and President Greg Kinney gives a nice rundown of what they'll be used for and the amount of money. And then I think one of the greatest things is he talks about the longevity of the foundation and the total amount that they've given back to the students at Riverdale since the inception of the foundation. So that's always a neat number to hear, and our kids are very fortunate.
It's always interesting to hear where all the money is going, and whether it's the Iditarod sled dog race to follow that or whatever the case might be. I'm always like, I want to be in that classroom and see what's going on here.
You do. We really try to pick things that are more that are going to have a greater effect on the kids, more hands-on things that are going to make a difference in their role within the classroom and give kids experiences that they normally would not have. Outside that our normal budget can't contain. So they've done a nice job with that. I talked a little bit about this kind of brewer game tradition they did. We talked about a ski trip. I think I had Matt Wormick earlier this year. Those are some of the bigger things that they've done with kids as they've continued to raise more money as they get further and further along in their development. It's like these are some big expensive things that kids are getting to do, and it's lessons or things they'll remember. And then it's like, okay, hey, maybe that brewer game. It's like, hey, let's go. We've never gone as a family. They can take their family next time. And the ski trip is something, you can do the rest of your life. So that just some things that they are doing. And then the little things in the classrooms that they give is just every year pretty amazed with what they're able to come up with.
Definitely. So that's next Friday. And looking back on the year, anything you want to call upon as far as highlights?
Yeah, we've had it's been, we started the year with the top egg program in the state of Wisconsin. We've really celebrated that the whole year and continued to build off of that. But then just the amount as the year went on, it was the first year of our strategic planning process that we had. So we kind of put the motto in, our mission of connect, empower, grow, developing our students for college and career readiness to get them out in the communities. And I think that really took off throughout the year and was used in a number of different areas. So, our connection piece is a piece that I talk about a lot, and we got to continue to connect with our kids and our families and our community and continue to kind of raise the bar at the Riverdale School District. Make it something that our community is proud of. And I think, with the outgoing class that we have and the two girls sitting here, they've done that. And that's what you ask, and you talk about their dreams and aspirations and the things that they want to try to achieve. We feel very proud of what they're going to go out and do. And whether it's, whether they come back into our community or they go to another community, once you've graduated from there, you're Riverdale for life. And we have our alumni day, and someday hopefully we have these two girls coming back to represent us in that day, and they'll do wonderful things along with everybody else in the class of 2026. But we had the thing that I think was most impressive this year is we had state qualifiers in all kinds of stuff, in FFA, in our music program, in our forensics, in our ag, in our sports programs. We had a number of accolades that happen. Our sports programs did some things they haven't done in a long time, and I think that's it's just the stepping stone for what the future will bring for our kids.
How cool is it when alumni come back, to the school and you see where they've landed? That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's really awesome. And then kind of leading with that is tonight's our scholarship night and awards night. So we have a ton of alumni that come back to that and will present scholarships, whether it's a name of a family or a business or community organization. You see a lot of them come back. We've got an alumni coming back from South Carolina that presents a scholarship now every year at a mayor. So it's pretty neat to see everybody wanting to give back. And every year we have a couple new scholarships that come up, and they're just people that a lot of them times they've just graduated from Riverdale and want to give back, and that means they must have had a good experience when they're here if they're willing to give back.
And you have some employees that graduated from Riverdale that come back too.
We do. We have, we have one sitting right here. So it's like, and I think in the education industry, it's going to become more and more important that you start to work on building your own. We're working on getting an intern next year that's a graduate from Riverdale back there to work in the spring semester, and those kind of things are important. And we've got our Educators Rising program that's building our future educators. It's going to be more and more important as the numbers kind of continue to drop in the education industry that we work to build our own people, and they have a sense of belonging here that they want to come back and give back to our community.
Behind the scenes, the budget's always an issue. You got to be working on that for the fall, and there's always some unknowns there with gas prices and everything else. Right?
Yeah, definitely. It's it's always an unknown because you don't know quite what's going to happen on the state and the national level. There's been a lot of, especially with some stuff coming up in the state this year with elections and that over the next year or two. There's been some jockeying back and forth with some decisions that are being made. There's a bill that just didn't pass that may have provided some more funding to education, or would have provided more funding to education, but I don't know if they'll revisit that or not. So, we have to do what we can with the unknowns and budget the best we can. And sometimes those decisions are difficult. You do the best you can to kind of explain to your staff some of the decisions you're making. And looking at the districts as a whole, we're in a good shape right now. With the passage of a referendum here a year ago, our community supported. So we're going to move forward, but we can always use some more help along the way because we know what's coming down the road, and insurance prices are going to hit us. And like you said, gas prices just kind of came out of nowhere. So these were things that now you got to budget a little bit more for those things in the next year, just to prepare, and that money has to come out of somewhere else than that you're already supporting.
Well, good luck with that. And
You bet.
I know that we're going to have you in during the summer, kind of making those plans, but the school year goes by so fast, doesn't it?
It sure does. And I enjoy these times. I think it's great to bring in the staff and give them a voice of the things they're doing, because they're the ones that are in their boots on the ground every day doing the things for our kids. So definitely appreciate them and everything they do for the Riverdale School District.
Wonderful. Thanks, Jeff.
You bet.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Phil.
Jeff Campbell joining us from Riverdale Schools. Kurt Thompson, along with Jason Troxel, and also joining us, the valedictorian Macy McKay and the salutatorian Riley Leith on today's morning show, representing Riverdale.